got Steph. Come on out, Steph Frosh. Yeah, buddy. Hey, girl, hey.
Hi, Daddy.
And next up, we got super swagged out Zaddy, okay?
Daddy!
Sorry.
That's Poppy.
Okay, so that's right, we just had this conversation. So Poppy's coming out. Amber, come on out!
Hey, what's up, y'all? Hey.
Sit down, get comfy.
Welcome to the LGBT panel, featuring L.
And T.
Hey.
The G and the B may be coming, but they're here in spirit. This is where G will be. And B can be right in the middle there.
Get it? Oh, wow, that was loud.
But we're really excited to have everybody here. We're gonna kind of talk, as we were introduced, being LGBT in the world today is way more acceptable, but we're still not quite there yet, right? And so we just want to kind of talk about that, get a conversation going, share a little bit of our side stories besides what we share on the interwebs. And, maybe at the end we'll take some questions. I feel like that would be really dope, right?
I love questions.
Everybody loves Q&A. So,
You and gay. Got dad puns, got a dad shirt, I'm ready.
So I have some questions here because I did homework, because I'm a good student and they gave me questions to ask.
Yes,
So let's just jump right into it, right?
Let's do it.
Okay. No foot in the pool, we're just jumping in deep end. All right, so why don't we we'll start with this. This is a nice, easeful question. What is the role that online video has played in the awareness of sexual and gender fluidity?
I feel like it's the main role of it, because nowadays in mainstream media we are seeing more representation, which is fantastic and amazing. But when we think about who did it first, it's always been the internet. The internet and YouTube has been where it all started. It's kind of like the internet is to mainstream media what drag queens are to everything else in the world, where they are the originators,
Yes, no, I totally agree. Amber?
And I definitely think the internet, but I think that it's offered more and then showcased that is something that is a norm across. I'm in a relationship with someone I would consider sexual fluid. I don't like to label. And that was one thing when I first came out on the internet. I wanted to label myself. I found myself. And now I'm in a relationship with someone that I don't feel like needs to be labeled. So I think that sexual fluidity is a norm for people, especially if they don't want to put a label on themselves, or they're still trying to figure it out, or just they're a free spirit, baby,
I think, yes. I think that's also where kind of the LGBT community has been using the word queer. Because I think queer just means that you're not necessarily one lane. And I think maybe you guys can share a little bit on this, but I think when you first come out, or you first realize your gender, or your sexuality, or both, I think that those labels can help because they can make you feel part of a community.
Exactly.
Right? So I came out as a lesbian when I was about 14 or 15 years old. And then when I was 21 years old, I realized that it wasn't so much about my sexuality, it was more about my gender. And that's when I came out as transgender. And so for me, identifying as a lesbian at that time made me feel like part of something, you know what I mean? Because in high school, I was the only, not that I was the only lesbian, but I was the only out lesbian, you know what I mean? And so do you guys feel that too when you found out what your identity was and you were able to put some type of label to it? Did it help? And then maybe as you got more comfortable, you realized that you don't need it as much?
Definitely. Okay, so it took me a long time. Oh, I thought Mac was here. Okay.
We're trying.
It took me a long time to get to the point where I was comfortable with myself and be out. And at that time, one of the reasons why I was so unsure is because there was two labels. It was femme or stud, and I didn't feel like I fit in either one of those. So I was like, well, no, I model even though I played basketball, so don't tell me what I am. And then I started coming out on the internet saying STEM. So that was my label for myself. Okay, yeah, I date girls, but I don't like the two labels that are out there. So I started saying STEM, which was, I was the first person on the internet, and I say I created it, but other people probably said it. So it was easy for me to say, I'm feminine and masculine at the same time, and now we say androgynous. So I was that person on the internet to say, hey, you can be anywhere in between. You don't have to be what people say that you are now that you're out and in a community. So it was helpful for me because I found my own lane, and then I was able to like kind of go on the internet and do that, and then people were like, yeah, you're right. Like I also feel like I fit in somewhere in between, and that's what a STEM is, so it helped.
And you also helped other people find a community by putting yourself out there in that vulnerable way, you know what I mean? So that other people can say like, oh yeah, you're right. Like it doesn't have to be such a straight line.
Right, it took me so long. I wish I had a YouTube.
Oh my gosh.
And like, so now I feel a sense of responsibility to do the videos and help others through the process that took me way too long.
Totally. Steph?
I mean, I think my thing is, because I did come out really young, and I still am considered young, but I think for me personally, I feel like it changed over the years, because even like 5 years ago, being able to say I'm a lesbian and that I'm a part of a community, it was almost like back then you're a part of a community or you're not. It was very much like there was no, I mean, there always has been fluidity, but it wasn't as accepted and talked about. So it was either you're a butch lesbian or you're a straight girl, and like,
or lipstick, butch or lipstick.
Yeah.
no, even
Not
lipstick.
even then?
Yeah, because like, I don't know, I even struggled for a while because I am a feminine person, even though I look like a dad in Hawaii right now. But I struggled with my feminine identity because my sexuality wasn't valid. So back then it was either you're a lesbian or you're not. You're either completely transgender MTF or FTM, or you're cisgender. Like there was no fluidity. And since the complete taboo spectrum of being like gay or trans or anything like that is more talked about, I feel like with that in time, the fluidity is more and more accepted. So it's like a double-edged sword. It's like, yeah, you get to feel like you belong to something, but I feel like that's important.
To box you in.
Yeah, but I also think it's important for these communities to remember you don't need to be 100% in a box in order to be a part of a community.
Yes. So we have a special guest coming out, but I want to hear a little bit of noise before they make it out. So let's get a little vibe going up in here. Yes. So I want to welcome to the stage Mac Does It. Come on out. Yes. Oh yes, we have this
Stage on the
beautiful
stage.
scene just for you.
Good
Got your
morning.
nice
Some people
hair.
dropped out of our
Welcome.
panel this morning, and we recruited Mac. We got Mac out of bed.
We are very happy Mac made it. How are you doing?
I'm just waking up.
Well, we're happy to have you
You
here.
guys literally called me while I was just like on my bed, just
Said,
chilling.
get out of bed, boo. We need
Can you
you.
get on the main stage in like the next 2 seconds? I'm like, okay, I'll
Only have a
try.
trans guy
It's
ask
the
me
main
lesbian.
stage. Like, if you're gonna come out, come for the main stage.
Yes, exactly.
Come out.
So we're very happy to have you. How was your night last night?
It was great. If you can hear my voice, it was very
Yeah,
great.
it sounds like it was a blast. So we were just kind of having the conversation about how sometimes labels can box you in, but at the same time they can make you feel community. Can you relate to any of that?
Yeah, I talk about that all the time, like saying like being a gay YouTuber, there's a lot of opportunities. Everybody watches everything that's gay. And but at the same time you do feel kind of, I guess, subcategoried at times, and especially at like conventions and other situations, you feel like you can't really branch out and show like your true content, like what you are. Because for me, I guess I'm very universal when it comes to the type of content I make, but like
Gay is
that
a part of your identity.
Gay is
It's
part of
not
my identity,
your
but
whole
it's
thing.
not my entire brand. But when it comes to like a lot of business stuff, they tend to just label me as a gay YouTuber and tend to just like put me with all the rest of the gays. I'm like, I'm not mad at it, opportunities, but at the same time, what's gonna happen in the future?
And we totally just like called on you because of the G. So
Yeah.
just totally fill that out for you.
You're like, you're more than that. A gay.
You're more than that, but come over.
Be the gay, Mac, be the gay.
We want to make sure at least the LGBTQIA panel is as inclusive as possible.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. All right, so let's jump on to the next question. So, are we forming into an online society that is essentially forcing youth to come out because they feel they need to? And what should we say to those who truly just don't want to come out or are not ready to come out?
I don't think we are doing that, because I feel like most creators, I feel like we're saying that if you are LGBTQ plus and young, it's okay. I don't think we're saying it's okay, now get the hell out of that closet.
Yes.
Because, you know, safety is a big issue, and coming out, it's the only person in charge of your coming out story and experience and timing is yourself. And also, it's a marathon, not a race. You don't need to just sprint and getting over with. Personally, I feel sometimes LGBTQ plus people are coming out every day because you meet new people. Even if it's like I'm in Trader Joe's and someone's like, you got a boyfriend? And I was like, I'm a homosexual. I'm single. But I mean, I think we're promoting that if you're young, accept it, don't be ashamed of it, and come out on your terms when you're ready, when you feel you are in a safe place, because there's nothing wrong with you taking your time, because it's your story, your experience.
Yes. You want to anybody?
I think that I don't think that anybody should rush it, and I end up telling a lot of people that reach out to me individually, like through emails or like just in comments, I tell them, don't feel like you need to rush, because the number one thing that I always get is like, when did you come out? How did you know? Because I have these feelings and I want to tell everybody, but I'm unsure because of this. And I'm like, see, you said unsure. So don't like rush for it, like, and feel like you have to come out because you're feeling some type of way. Because I feel like you should be 100% sure and ready, because it helps you with your confidence, because sometimes this world can be harsh. Your family can be absolutely against you, and if you're not 100% and 100% confident in who you are, even your family can try to like say, it's a phase, and then change your mind when that's not who you are, and then it takes later on in life. So there's a lot of factors that I feel like can affect you negatively in your mindset if you are questioning or having certain feelings. So
Totally.
Just take your time, make sure you know exactly who you are, and then burst into this world,
Yeah.
and then just be like, this is who I am, and I don't care what you think, and I love myself.
And just like Steph said, I mean, it's not going to be the first time you come out. You're going to have to come out all of the time. I just came out backstage. They were like, oh, so like, who are you? I'm like, actually, so I'm transgender. So, you know, and like people ask what we do. I'm sure we all have to be like, well, you know, I'm like first trans guy on Men's Health magazine.
And
like,
I'm genders twice.
yeah, so it's like the first thing that I say, you know what I mean? But the cool thing is that, you know, I was on YouTube 9 years ago. I don't even want to say that. But nobody knew what I was saying. I was like, oh, I'm trans. People are like, oh, okay. And you could just tell by the blank stare, they have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. You know what I mean? And so I want to ask, and then we'll get some questions in for sure. Do you guys feel like being LGBTQ on YouTube, on social media in general, that you have a social responsibility to be an activist? Or do you feel like there can be both sides? You know, do you feel like everybody should be an activist? Do you feel like maybe some people aren't, not to say they're not qualified, but they're not, okay, I'm not saying it, you know what I'm saying? Mac,
I feel like when you are on a bigger platform and you are someone that's not, I guess, the cookie cut image that the media has always been pushing, you're automatically an activist no matter like what you are doing. Like you are pushing yourself out there. You're like, I'm different than what people see, and I want like the media to be different than what people see. So like I'm an activist basically, you know?
I think that if you are in a position of power and you're LGBTQ plus, one, everyone's story is different. So all because you're on YouTube, all because you have a following, it doesn't mean, because like your family life, your personal life is different. Like it doesn't mean your family is going to be accepting. It doesn't mean your safety won't be at risk, because everyone has their own journey. I feel like if you don't have any threat to it, I mean, it's also, it's like a double-sided answer for me. I feel like, yes, if you have nothing to lose, then you need to have your voice be heard, because I feel like a lot of content creators don't come out because they're worried that will be their entire brand.
Yes.
Which I feel like there's also a difference between, you can be gay, but it doesn't mean you need to be this like advocate person. Because like, for instance, I know, like, you know, if you're not feeling good, you probably shouldn't push yourself, but it's not like I'm a doctor and I should say what we're gonna do on that part of your body. And I think it's important to say, if someone does ask you these questions, when you don't know, just be like, hey, yeah, I am gay, but I'm not like Professor Gay. It's a part of who I am. And then they can give you references to those who do. Like, I feel like we all are people that know things about the community. So it's like, subscribe to Steph, Amber, and Mac, and Aiden.
I'm gonna say exactly what you said. I can't speak for everybody, but for myself personally, hell yeah, I have a sense of responsibility. The reason why I started doing YouTube and the reason why I felt like my channel even took off is because a lot of people were able to come on and say, oh my God, I relate to you in some type of way, whether it's biracial or my upbringing and the struggles that I had in life, and then also with it taking a long time to come out. It put me right where I wanted to be. I wanted to go to law school and be in politics one day, and then now I'm still in a position where I'm able to help people, and that's the most beautiful thing ever in the world. So yes, I have a sense of responsibility to speak up about things that other people are scared to speak up about, and to talk about things that affect people negatively, positively. So yes, I feel like if I don't do that, I am not I'm not me. I'm not being authentically me, and that's why I'm demonetized, and I don't make money on you. Let me stop. But yeah, so I'm not gonna shut my mouth. I'm here for my followers and my supporters only. This is why I'm doing it. So yes, I have to speak up for them. Because we have a voice, and we have to speak up for those that don't know that they have a voice or don't have a platform to speak up and make that noise and use their voice.
And that feels true to you,
yes.
To each person. I think that's what it comes down to. If you highly identify with your, gender or sexuality, then, you have a responsibility because you have such a platform. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if that's not in your heart and it's not authentic to you, then you're not probably going to do a very good job because you're kind of like making it up and just kind of using that as your push, Some people just go for that, and then some people don't want to be boxed in, like Steph was saying. I want to hand it over to these lovelies and let them have a quick little combo with everybody. But really quick, does anybody want to share just a quick 2-minute story? Anyone meet anyone that was just over the moon this weekend and you just want to shout them out? Over the moon.
Well, Mac Does It just ran from his hotel room to this panel, so I think little shout out to me.
Yeah, yes,
shout out to
yes,
you.
we can make noise for Mac. Yes, we can.
Mac also got me a drink last night, so shout out for that.
Oh, yeah.
And then, although I'm a lesbian, I'm not like Amber where you're good at sports. So on my social change panel, when
You're better at at beer pong though.
I am, and everyone said that you're gonna
me.
be better. I freaking carried it. I was like,
We're on a team at Dinah Shore together, and she carried us. But listen,
yeah. And then
Nick
yesterday
was
I hit a dad in the
warm-up.
face with that cube.
All right, cool. So let's get to some questions. So why don't you raise your hand if you got a question? All right, here we go. So I'm gonna throw this. We're gonna talk into it, okay? You know how to do this thing, and then throw it back when you're done, okay? Boom. Next question, come on.
What was the hardest part about coming out to your family?
I think the hardest part for me, because everyone's experience is different, was I didn't know how my parents were going to react. I literally had zero idea, so I just assumed the worst. I feel like the worst.
We all assume the worst, that's for sure.
I feel like the worst part is actually the anticipation before than the actual coming out process, but I think the hardest for me was I was really lucky where I had my mom who was super supportive. My dad, it's not that he was against it was more that he was like, don't you want to have Jewish kids, or it was just a different, and I was like, what? I kind of could, and two, I like the falafel, but that's about as Jew as we gonna get, Ben. But I think the hardest part was I came out a few months before my mom passed away. So I came out and had a support system and then lost that support system immediately. Mm-hmm. And then it was hard being my own support system while educating my family. And now it's great, but at first it was hard, but everyone's journey is different,
All right, next question.
I'm gonna say one thing.
Yeah,
I feel like it's
gave everyone
important because it took me so long to come out. By the time I was, and I told you guys, I'm like, I don't care what you think. This is me. I didn't need my parents to support me. I already knew exactly who I was, and I was so confident in that I didn't need them. I just was like, it would be great if you did, but other than that, I'm gonna be good. And I just want you guys to have that in your mind sometimes too, because it might not always be the outcome, but just be happy who you are, and you can find family within friends or the community. That's
Truth.
it.
Yes, yes. All right, next question.
Okay, so did you have anybody that was like not supportive like at all? That like was against it?
Yes.
Any haters?
I went to a religious school.
Me too.
Me too.
Catholic all 12 years.
Yeah.
Jew school. But I don't know, when I first came out, I was very much bullied at my school. I don't even necessarily think it was because I was gay, because Jews, I think, are very much like, you know, about everything. They're like, let's eat. But at my school, because it was so small and a private school with like privileged white people, it was like they looked for any excuse to make fun of you for being different. So I got like pushed against the wall and like threatened. I had like the football team guys like try and grope on me in the hallways. And yeah, not a fun time, but just know for every person that is, quote, against you, there's 100 billion more that are accepting and going to love you.
Love it. Love it. I gotta keep going back and forth. Here we go.
While we're finding a person, if they don't accept you, they don't need to be in your life. Just don't waste your time with those people. That's it.
Yes.
Let's get, yes.
And just remember, I also want to add, like, you know, 40% of homeless youth are LGBT. So I
And
think
80% of that are trans.
yes, yes. So I think there's a time and place also to come out. Like, you can come out maybe to your family here, you know what I mean? And maybe you wait until maybe you're in college or you have the ability to provide for yourself to maybe come out to family. Because I never like to tell youth, like, come out and tell, like, screw you, mom, you know what I mean? Because, like, the last thing you want is someone on the street. But I think we can all kind of gauge within your own family. You guys are gonna be the one who can make that decision in the dynamic of your family. Go for it.
Do you guys have any advice on how to deal with biphobic parents?
Biphobic parents.
Sorry, I had coffee this morning. I never drink coffee. I feel like with the
We got help you.
with the bisexual community, I feel like that is a difficult subject because a lot of parents I know, even who aren't homophobic at all, their big thing is you have to be one. Like you're unsure because they simply don't understand it. But it's kind of like, I would explain it like you like chocolate and vanilla, you gotta pick one. What do you mean you like both? And also, the most effective way is, as frustrating it is, just if they are biphobic, you need to keep reminding them like a fucking, oh my god, like
It's not me.
like a freaking broken record. Just the more you educate, the more and more they will accept it, even if it doesn't seem like it. And remember that, as difficult as it is, if your parents aren't accepting now, it doesn't mean it's going to be the same situation. Because my dad started out being like, don't you want Jewish kids, to never talking about the fact that I was gay, to being like poster dad, like, I believe in gay marriage, my Steffi is going to have a wife one day. So remember that.
Very cute. Okay, next question. Let's go right here.
Do you think sometime in your life, like maybe even though you have to wait till you're ready, like maybe after you move out or something, do you think sometime in your life or your parents' life that we need to come out to them before they like pass away, or like at least let them know while they're still here? Even like, of course, maybe wait after we move out so we're safe, but do you think at all we have to tell them sometime?
I think that's all on you and how you feel as a person. Like, if you feel like it's important for you to know who you truly are, like every aspect of who you are before they leave this earth, then that's up to you. It really is. And then one other thing that I want to say to your question over here is sometimes parents will react negatively because they feel like they get defensive because they feel like it might be something that they did. So you have to just like give them time to take it in, you know? And I found it a little bit easier that I dropped hints and I let my mom figure it out and pick it up and come to me. Because I felt like by the time she came to me to kind of ask me questions, it was already kind of in her mindset that might be, you know, that might be a possibility. And so she was ready.
Did you like
sense? She was.
leave the L word on by
I
accident and leave the room or something.
Like, you know,
you drop hints like
I know, it's like little things. It's hard to explain, but like I
little rainbow.
left the
flags.
L word on the TV one day, you know, like I finished watching TV and I left it on. Like little hints like
About how awesome
like,
she is. Oh, lesbian.
you know. But then after she asked me, she was like, "Oh, okay, just checking because I knew when you were 6. I was just making sure." Like,
Yeah. When I came out to my mom as a lesbian, she took like 4 hours to get back to me. I wrote her a letter, and then I called her and was like, "So what do you think?" And she's like, "I've just been waiting for you to tell me, to be honest." So, you know. Yeah, let's go in the back with the flag. Oh, I'm so sorry. Are you okay?
So how do you deal with transphobic parents that want to like send you away and think that you're wrong?
How do you deal with transphobic parents that want to send you away and think that you're wrong?
Aiden, why don't you answer that? We're a bunch of cisgendered people. We have no right to talk on that.
So I think, like, again, when it comes to parents, it gets really tricky because each household is run differently, you know? But I think when it comes to transphobic parents, the only thing I can do is speak from my own experience, right? And so I don't know if this is gonna, hopefully something will resonate with you. When I came out, my father didn't get it at all, was very concerned, like Amber was saying, about him and what he did wrong. And my mother was just concerned about safety, right? And so what I think changed is that I started embracing my masculinity and my gender, my true gender, and they started to see how happy it made me and how much more confident I was in the things I was doing, the way I was expressing myself. They saw me making new friends in this gender that was new to me and new to them. And that's when I think they really started to notice, like, oh, so this is why they have it, this is why they've been depressed, or this is why they don't have that many friends, this is why they want to stay home all the time, because they're not really being themselves, they're not being authentic to themselves. And so I think if you can find in your own family dynamic ways to show that when you are suppressed and you can't express yourself as you truly are, you're not going to be able to be yourself the whole time, you know? And if they love you and they want you to thrive in life, then they want to see you happy. They want to see you successful in whatever category that means. And so I think if you can try to express that instead of just being like so aggressive on, like, you should definitely be confident in who you are, but maybe just lean it more towards, you know, the fact that, like, this is what makes me happy though. Like, don't you want me to be happy? Don't you want me to find a partner? Don't you want me to start a family if I want to? Don't you want me to have a good job? You know
Or
what
if
I
you
mean?
don't and you're asexual or in the gray area or aromantic, that's fine too.
Of course, yes. Okay, we got 2 minutes left. Yes, this one in the front's put their hand up the whole time. Here we go.
When you found out that you guys were gay, how did you feel about yourself?
Terrified. I remember I found out realized I was gay when I was 13 after I saw Rent, because although I grew up and my mom always had gay friends and I knew what gay men were, I didn't put 2 and 2 together and be like, oh, women could be too. And then I saw Rent and I had feelings when I saw Idina Menzel get it.
Not these feelings though.
Oh, I was.
They were a little low.
But so on my AOL in restricted mode, I like Googled what is a lesbian, and I was like freaking out because I was like, oh my god, that fits me, and I was like, wait, let's look up bisexual. Maybe I'm that. Maybe that's. And then I looked it up. I was like, it's not that either. So I was terrified. I was very depressed. I kept it to myself for as long as possible and wanted to suppress it. So coming out is a journey for you as well, because at first I was so afraid of it and against it, and now I'm just like, I'm gay. So yeah.
Couldn't tell.
I found out I was gay after watching a cartoon called Queer Duck. It was like a movie cartoon. I don't know if anyone's heard of that. It was a very explicit cartoon.
Everyone's Googling it now, you know that.
Everyone's Google Queer Duck. But yeah, I don't know how I felt. Like, cause like in middle school, you hear like the word gay, gay over and over again, but I didn't know what that meant until like I actually searched it up, and I was like, oh, it's like okay, so I guess I am, you know? And I wasn't really terrified. I was just more just like, don't even know how to explain it. I guess I was like slightly, relief, like to know like, oh, so people are like, right? And then, and then at the same time, it was just like, I don't know, because the, I don't know. I don't know.
All right, well, I think maybe that's exactly how you felt then.
Yeah.
You're just
yeah,
like, okay, I guess that's
okay,
it. You know,
yeah,
which you explained before, like, you're gay, but it's not the only thing about you. So maybe that was just the reflection back at you. It's like, yeah, like I'm gay, and now I can put a label to that, but that's not gonna be everything I am, right?
Thank you for saving me.
All right, let's give a round of applause for this amazing panel.